it's Roni, and welcome to day 4 of the 12 days of Christmas. Plus, it's also Punched Out Thursday to Die For with Kathy, Krista, myself, and Dorothy. So, bunches going on today. I'm going to scrap this picture of my grandson, and he is dressed as an elf. So, this is number 2 on the elf series that I'm doing because I am going to have 3 layouts with elves on them. Now you see all those punches laying over there to the left? I had a plan. I made a sample and I planned on sticking with it. I had all this set up to do my layout and then changed my mind. So I am winging it here. I had an oval plan for the body, but then I got to thinking I kind of wanted to make him look like the elf on the shelf. And, that one's tall and skinny. However, he has red pants on. And I'm going to have candy striped legs. And I did make them. I took a little piece of red and went across the white and made the candy stripes. I did use that one oval punch to make his shoulders. And now I'm putting a collar on there because the elf on the shelf has a collar. At least the one I bought did. And I'm also going to make him a belt in white. And I'm going to put it on and I'm going to think that's just a little bit too straight. Because if you have a belt on, even if you're a guy, it don't look 100% straight. So I didn't give him hips or anything, really. I just narrowed it a little bit and gave the body a shape. And see that tiny reindeer? I am going to put 2 back to back. And then I'm going to trim them to look like a little boot for an elf. So that means my elf is going to have long, skinny legs and little tiny feet. However, when I come up with this solution, I was making one along the lines of a sticker, which I'm going to show later, that had 2 elves, and they were chubby little elves with skinny little legs and tiny feet. But don't that reindeer look like a tiny elf boot with a pointed toe now? And of course, to fit in that little tiny shoe, he had to have long, skinny legs. Well, they didn't have to be long, but I made them long anyway. But when you see the inspiration stickers, you will understand why I done them this way. But yeah, there is a few punches over there that do not get used because I don't really need them on this particular punch art thing. And like I said, the body I made on my own instead of a punch. However, I am going to use the head, but I am going to use the arm, do the arms by hand like I did the legs. Now I wanted his arms to be bent at the elbow because I'm going to have him climb a ladder. Yeah, that's my intention. So his arms are going to be bent. And his back is going to be to me. In case you haven't figured that out yet and thought my collar looked kind of on the funny side, it's because his back's to me. I did consider turning his head sideways, but I'd already done it facing facing the back of the paper, well, the front of the paper, and thought, oh well, I guess I'll just leave it. But see my circle punch out laying there? It's on that piece of white paper. That's what I had for the head already punched. But now I'm having to punch again, and I got I had a 1-inch round head, but now I'm going to have a 1-inch oval head. And I'm doing it twice so he can have some hair. And after I got to looking at him, I decided he also needed a neck so that when I do the hairdo, he'll have something to drape down on. Just a little bit. He might be in a little bit of a need of a haircut if he wants to stay spiffy. And I'm just going to take the brown oval and cut the edge of the bottom part. Just take a little chunk out of both sides. Just like you would do a haircut. And yeah, you can see that, he's got hair on his neck when I get done. And the hat, I'm actually going to use a punch on. Oh, and the ears too, they're the little Martha Stewart punch with the 3 butterflies on there. Oh, here I'm showing the hat. That's the one I used with the hat. And I only used the bottom part of the primitive heart. And the ears, I am using the small butterfly And one I'm using to glue to the head, and the other one's going to stick out like elf ears. I pulled out my 6x6 paper pad wood grain because I knew I wouldn't need much, and I was thinking 6x6 would probably be about all right because I'm going to use a scrap piece of paper that was in my stash because I used the other part. But I cut 4 strips all about the same size, and I just cut them by hand. I didn't use the trimmer so that it would look a little more rustic. However, I didn't make them very crooked at all. They're pretty straight considering. But I did ink the edges lightly to give them a little more dimension. And I guess I'm going to put the little bottom rung of the ladder on crooked because I'm going to have to trim off the top and off the bottom opposite legs to get them right. So it's going to actually end up a little less than 6 inches by the time I get done with it. And I am going to glue my little guy on there and then put foam tape underneath the whole thing because I'm going to hang some lights later and I want him to pop out a little bit. I think I'll wait though to put the foam tape on there. But yeah, see, my ladder's just about the right size. Oh, here's where I noticed that it's a little on the crooked side. But yeah, I'm just checking it out and trying to decide which place I'm going to end up putting it on and where I'm going to put my picture. I couldn't make up my mind at first. I thought, will it look better centered? Will it look better here or there? Then I thought, well, maybe I ought to go ahead and put the picture over there and determine it then. So I'm going to just glue down the other stuff that I've got here first. And I didn't want just that blank paper just hanging there with nothing. So I am putting a strip of green and red across there to give it a stopper. I used the liquid glue on the red because I want to make sure it was centered and it'd be easier to move. But I didn't on the other part because I want to make sure it would move later if I had to. You know what I'm saying? You know, the white liquid glue will not, but the ATG, you'll have a whole lot better chance of moving, just in case I decide to do something different. I wasn't quite sure because I still hadn't made up my mind what to do with my tall elf yet. I do have, I think, like 3 dies that do light bulbs, and this one I'm pretty sure is the biggest one. And another one I used in the past, I can't remember what date that. I don't think that goes up till later in the month. It has this next size down on the lights. And then I have a die with the skinny ones too, but I don't know if I'll be using that one considering I'm not sure what I did with it. Oh, I put white daisy ink on my finger and I'm just going to smush it on the light bulb to give it, you know, the glow where it has the glow where the light hits it. And my plan is to string my lights across the page, and I'm going to use that Dollar Tree twine. It's pretty thin, so I figured that it wouldn't make too much bulk there. I have some pretty thick stuff, and I thought, well, if I'm going to have tangled light bulbs, which is my plan, I needed the thinner stuff. And these have that eye, is what they call it, like hook and eye. It has the eye on there, so I can just string it between the eye and not have to worry about making something or putting something on there for them to hang on to. Or just string it behind it, you know. I really have something here. And I will notice pretty quickly that I don't have any yellow light bulbs. I did them first, so they were on the bottom of the bowls. Because when I got started making them, I made quite a few, so I do have more for another layout. But yeah, I had to dig some yellow ones out. And as you can see on Jason's shirt, he has a light bulb necklace and a reindeer on the front of his shirt. So I considered making reindeer to go with my page, but instead I'm going to end up using a little Rudolph sticker. But he is adorable. But then all of the doodlebug little things, they're adorable. And although I'm only putting glue on the back of my page to hold the twine down, I am going to put some thick washi tape back there too. I did put foam tape behind all the light bulbs, so of course I'm going to have to put foam tape behind the ladder and my little guy too. But I'm going to put him on there first so I can just do the foam tape all at once. Oh, and I put off making his, well, the bottom part of his arms and hands because I wanted to get him on the ladder first, just so I'd know how to position them. And the hands, you know, I still haven't figured out the best thing to use for the hands, so I just hand cut them and made them look like mittens. But I'm working on the arm part, the forearm right now. And since he has a white collar, of course, he has to have white cuffs to go with it. And I'm just cut little teeny tiny pieces to go on his wrists. And his mitten hands are gonna look kind of on the flat side all through the video. But before I take the pictures, I'm gonna take my piercer tool and kind of curl the fingers around a little bit, just so they don't look so straight and flat, like Flat Stanley. And Flat Stanley did come visit me once from Kansas City. I had to send him on his merry little way, just across town, not too far, but he was making his rounds. I'm going to cut my strips of foam tape smaller. I think I'm going to make them, I think that's a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to cut it in 4 pieces so that I can put it on the ladder. And here's the Inspiration Elf stickers. See how round they are, and the skinny little legs and the skinny little feet? Yeah, that's where I got my inspiration from. So this is my test piece, and I made her to go along the lines of the stickers. And that's why some of that punch stuff is still sitting there, because I didn't need it, because I was planning on making the guy the same way. And at the last second, I changed my mind. My title is Dressed in Holiday Style, because with Rudolph on the front of your shirt, an elf hat on, and light bulbs, you're dressed in holiday style. And you're awful cute too. So yeah, it made me enjoy making the layout. Well, I would have enjoyed it anyway, but I got to use my imagination more. And yeah, his necklace isn't in quite the mess that my lights are, but yeah, I thought it was cute. I thought I'd go with it. When I was trying to figure out where the little girl elf needed to go, I decided I needed one more light on there. Like I don't have enough. But then I'm going to have a harder time deciding where the little girl goes. But she will go on the left-hand side, and give her a little space between her and the tall, skinny elf. And if I'd thought ahead, I would have made her vest green and her dress red, so she'd show up a little better, because against this green background, she don't show up quite as good as she could have if I used different colors. Or the same colors a different way, I mean. I did put a present in her hands, because, elves are workers, so she needed to be working too. He's trying to get the light string figured out, and she is hauling presents to the sleigh, and she has Rudolph right there when he was a little baby. Yeah, he looks really small compared to her, don't he? And elves are small. Maybe not almost as small as light bulbs, but they are pretty small. And I decided I needed some greenery on there, and of course I used my Martha Stewart punch with the holly leaves. But I also took a marker and put veins on the leaves. I cut that out because you cannot see them today. I mean, I've got to really be looking for them, because it was too close to the same color, I guess. I don't know. It looked fine when I put them on there. But I cut that out since you can't see them anyway. And I am decorating his hat with little, I guess they would be, well, they're teardrops, according to that punch. But I've noticed on a lot of hats that they have these little tufts that go up, and so that's what I'm doing on his hat. But I'll have links down there below to everybody else that is doing the Punched Out Thursday to Die For, and the ones that are doing the 12 days of Christmas, so that you can check both places out and get loads of inspiration. But yeah, that's it. That's my layout. And see, he's got shorts on now. He did not have all the way through the video, but he does have shorts on now because I realized it and I went back and put them on. And I used a sticker, Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, although it didn't have anything to do with the layout. I thought maybe since I got a guy and a girl on there, it'll be all right. And yeah, there's my ladder with my tall, skinny elf. And see, I made sure his shoes showed up. And this is more of a close-up of him. And dressed in holiday style. And see, I didn't curve his waist too much. He don't look like a girl. But that's it. That's my layout. If you leave a comment down there below, I'll get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. And those of you who already are, thank you so much. But have a happy, scrappy week. Take care and stay safe. Oh, and I'll see you again tomorrow. And it'll be Mixed Media Frenzy at the same time. Bye.